could throw out a line, but not the kind in a field and stream book. No, darling, I ain't even.
Well, yesterday I was with Rosa Parks and I'd moved up to D Block, and now I'm with George Jefferson and I'm down
Get in the
E
back.
Block. Okay. Welcome back to the Five. We touched on this story earlier in the week. It's about Vanderbilt University's rule that requires religious groups to allow leaders with different religious beliefs to head up those groups. Well, what we didn't talk about is that 23 members of Congress are now stepping in. They wrote a letter to the school's chancellor opposing this rule. Okay, Dana.
Yes.
What do you think?
I think that this has already been asked and answered by the United States Supreme Court, saying that if you're a religious organization, you don't have to hire somebody who's not of your faith. And so I don't know why Vanderbilt's even bothering. I'm glad that the congressional members have written the letter because, but they might have well just they could send them over the brief that this.
No, but under there's a difference here. Under the school rules, if you want to become an official organization, you're then subject to non-discriminatory clauses, which means that anybody be able to join the group.
Which is funny because
I tried to join sororities, they wouldn't let me do it.
Because colleges and universities are the largest discriminatory bodies in this entire country. So if Vanderbilt wants to be true, why don't they have an open application process and not discriminate based on gender and race, which every college does? But
you want a student organization to allow them to discriminate against people coming in?
They can be in the group. What they're looking for is to protect the right to not have to have an outside. For example, in a Christian group, a Muslim wants to head it. They want to be able to say no.
Well, do they allow Muslims to join it?
I think that's still
I'm not sure.
If they want to convert, that'd be great.
You know, would David Duke be allowed on the, to teach at Howard University? No. You know, as a member of the Society for Little People, I would not want Eric Bolling to be president of it. It just doesn't seem right. It would be offended to. I need to have somebody like Dana run it.
Right.
You know, Greg, you would not be invited to join many groups, and I find that discriminatory, and I'd be behind you. But
I'm scared by that.
I think colleges and universities, like any organizations, they are all subjected to.
But there's common sense.
To civil rights, and I mean, there is non-discriminatory laws in this country. You can't discriminate against people.
Yeah, but you said it earlier as a joke. You said they wouldn't let you join a sorority. That's common sense.
No,
by your rules, you should join.
That's a genitalia issue.
But what if? Wait, but the thing
what
is,
is the difference? That's a brilliant
There is no
analogy.
difference.
That is a brilliant analogy, though.
Sorry.
Can we have a graphic for a broken analogy?
No, but I still get back to this. What are you talking about?
What am I talking about? What?
What did you say about universities are the most discriminatory groups?
They are. Look at any application. They discriminate every single semester based on all of these things, race and gender. And why don't, if they want to really have an open admission process and not be discriminatory, why don't they let anybody apply? Or why don't they make their faculty not have to have PhD?
Why are we even having this conversation? I mean, does somebody from a Muslim, does someone as a Muslim really want to be the head of a Christian organization?
No, I'm sure that's right.
It's like the mosque debate. Just because they have the right doesn't make it right.
Okay, well,
and think about it. These are Christian groups. We said this before. These are Christian groups that are being taunted deliberately.
I got into every college that I wanted to get into. I had a 2.001, and that's because I had an affair with the French teacher. She gave me a passing grade, but I got in because I was a football player, right? You probably got into school because you were a baseball player.
I auditioned for the Go-Go's, and they didn't let me in.
You had an affair with the French teacher, and she.
I did say she was. I told you, you saved my life once, but I'm telling you, you're running out of lives yourself. You know that line, I brought you this world, I can take you out?
If you want to have complete non-discriminatory policies across the board, take the top X amount of seats available in your school, in your classroom, in the top highest grades.
All right, let's try to touch on this other subject quickly.
Yes.
The number of student loans have just crossed the $1 trillion line. What do you think?
So this is student loans. It's like the slow-moving housing crisis that you can kind of see it coming. And I think one of the things that's interesting for housing is a question of government policy over the years of trying to encourage home ownership, which got banks into these subprime loans.
Yep.
Okay, but it's not that different when it comes to colleges and universities. So there's all of the student loan debt. And the question now for a lot of these students is, now that they can't find a job, did they get the...
And they can't declare bankruptcy on it.
Can I make a point?
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. 1990, the average tuition per year was $7,600. Yep. 2010, it's $21,000. It's tripled in 20 years. The people at Wall Street should be out in front of Harvard, they should be out in front of Princeton and harassing the professors, the tenured professors there.
How do these kids go to school without borrowing money? How do they do it?
But
Well,
Bob,
the
not,
tuition-
no,
A lot
here's
of
the
parents
big
scrimp
hoax.
and save their whole lives in order to be able to send.
Well, right.
Well, a
It's
lot
just
of
like the
them can't.
housing, but it's like the housing. It's called the American dream, not the American right. And not every student should go to college. There are trade schools, just not like every American doesn't need to have a home. It's the biggest hoax in America that students need to somehow have a 4-year degree in all these crazy courses like
Eric-
underwater basket weaving, and they get out, they can't find a job, as Dana said,
Eric
and they
came from a
can't.
poor family, and he got into school. He otherwise couldn't have gotten into school.
All right. We got to go?
Yeah, we got to go. We got to see.
gotta go.
You got that other thing? You get that in the next segment. Okay. I need a bark bag every day on this show. Hey, that's a pretty good line. When I listen to bowling, it's Obama bashing. Good thing there's one right here. We'll tell you why when we get back in just a little bit here on The Five.
This one goes out.